Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Threesome Fantasy Premier League podcast. Gents, we made it. We made it to the end of the season, which is it's been a humbling experience.
It really has, and it's gone so fast, boys. It's over in a flash.
Has
it? I mean, how many episodes? 45.
Have we done 45?
This is episode 44.
Oh, wow.
Right, okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems an awful long time ago that I was previewing West Brom players that were coming up for the Championship. I've got to be honest, but hey, we've had some fun along the way, and we're still here.
Yes, we are still kicking and screaming right to the end, and singing and eating, and making some terrible predictions.
It's been an up and down season. There is a slight highlights reel later on, just to whet your appetite, listeners, and indeed viewers, if you're one of those. So the final game week of the season, we went into it and I was 25 points ahead of you.
Yeah.
After being 100 points behind you last month.
All right.
So, but we'll see how it ended up in a bit, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And in our mini league, Stephan de Jong was ahead of FPL McMahon, who had a big say this week, didn't he? Because FPL McMahon got to pick my captain. And as we said last week, he's either going to make a friend or an enemy of me and indeed you, Anthony. So shall I run through how my team did?
Please do. This is massive.
Okay. So the good news is when I was sat at 3 o'clock seeing the team sheets, the FPL McMahon picked Patrick Bamford as my captain, and he was benched. So he got some abuse. Well, not abuse. He got some lines of questioning on Twitter. But Bamford did come in. He come off the bench and scored a penalty. So that's good. So he got me 12. Kane, who did well. Harrison, Son, Salah, and Rafinha all got assists. Although some of those you'd have to say are fluky. Harrison's got an assist for kicking the ball against someone's hand. Trent and Phillips at the back got me points. Iheanacho, Loughton, Martinez, nothing. So I think I'm going to end up on 61 points, which will put my score, I believe, at 2,381, which I can confirm is by a long shot my best ever score. Right, let's see if Mike could reel me in then. Mike, you need a 450 plus a 61. So you need 511 to overtake.
Oh, do you know what? I'm only one away. I was only one off it.
Unbelievable.
Like another one on the end of my 51 would have made 511. So actually, I do have Cresswell to come in off the bench, so I will finish on 57. A little frustrated that you told me just the other night that Meslier would not be playing, and yet I didn't make a transfer. So I had no goalkeeper. I bought Dallas in for the first time this season, and he only got me the 2. Alexander got me 5. Sorry, Trent, that is Alexander-Arnold. Salah 6, Harrison 5. Some similarities with your team there, Phil. Firmino 5. Kane, I captained, so he doubled up to 20 for me. 57 points is what I'm looking at.
Nice work. So Anthony, so you didn't quite do it, but it's a good effort, Mike. Anthony, by my maths, you need 86 to draw level, 87 for the win, and this is the moment of truth.
Didn't realise we were doing a podcast with Carol Vorderman.
Well, I mean, nothing wrong with mental arithmetic, my friend.
Indeed. Bad news for you, my friend. I got 120 points, so I win. Bad news.
Congratulations. I'm really pleased for you.
No, unfortunately, I'm sat here with an absolute beautiful score of 40, boys. I only had 9 players because, as we flagged up last week, Man United were likely to rest their team. Didn't really take that into account, did I? Left Wan-Bissaka and Fernandes on, who got 0. And no one came in from Rashford 0 on my bench. Godfrey 0 on my bench.
But at least Godfrey and Keane did play, Ant.
Yeah, but they got 0. So I had 9 players, and one of those 9 players, Aspilicueta, got -2. So thank you for that.
Oh, wait.
Got sent off right at the end. So yeah, I mean, I did make a good transfer with old Pepe for Arsenal, which was a good shout. He scored twice. Unfortunately, I made him my vice captain, and Antonio was my captain, who didn't have any involvement in 3 West Ham goals. So that was wonderful news. Other than that, I had Kane who got 10, Watkins 2, Mount did nothing again 2, Lingard 3, Dallas 2, and Martinez 3. So yeah. I mean, I talked about last week how my season was ending on an absolute whimper. And I think Aspilicueta getting sent off in the last minute in what turned out to be a meaningless result for Chelsea pretty much summed it all up, really. So, yeah, you won with, you beat me, mate, with room to spare. And in fact, having been third in our league, just having a little look, all the teams around me or just below me have beat me quite handsomely. So I'm going to be clinging on even to get a top 10 in our league at this rate.
No, I think you'll be fine.
Have a look.
You'll be fine for that, mate.
Teams below me got 60 to 70 points, each of them, and they were only about 20, 30 points behind. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty tight to even finish in the top 10, which is, as much as this is a bit of fun, it doesn't really matter. It's an absolute whimper, boys. Absolute whimper. I was heading for a top 3 here. I was heading for a top 100,000. I'm now not even in the top 200,000 and just creeping into the top 10. So, but then again, I don't know anything about football, as your mother-in-law knows. I'm just jammy. So I guess.
Oh gosh, he's really taken that.
Run out.
You've really taken that comment to heart. That has stuck, hasn't it? That was 3 weeks ago, Anthony. And every time I've seen you or heard from you, there's been a mention of that comment.
I'm like an elephant. I don't forget a thing.
Yeah.
But look at your face. I mean, the last season, I felt like I got in your head because last season, I think I gained 100 points on you in the last month as well.
Yeah, I think you did, mate. Yeah,
and overtook you, and it was an astonishing season. Because it was split in 2 halves, wasn't it? And the second half.
Remember it.
No, it's probably best to. And you're 100 points ahead last year, and I changed my name every week to something that would wind you up. My team name, ultimately ending on Bottle Job Ant or Bottle Job Callet or something. This season, I feel like, to be honest, out of everything, my mother-in-law has got in your head. She's just
brutal. She's done me, mate.
It wasn't even me.
After that, I was mentally wrecked. Sleepless nights, cold sweats, and the wheels fell off, boys. That was it.
It's not an exaggeration. I mean, to say that you have mentioned that he has, mate. You're right. Every time you've seen him, he's mentioned how angry he is at my mother-in-law. So, yeah. I mean, the main thing is a game.
It is a game.
We've all had fun, some slightly more than others. And I would suggest at this point that Mike's probably had more fun than you, Ant.
Well, Mike always has fun. Have you not heard his singing and his puns? Mike's always a happy-go-jolly little fella.
I have had a lot of fun, lads, because I've played with gay abandon. Transfer after transfer. Pun after pun, song after song, and I will endeavour to take a slightly fresh approach to the game next season and take it a bit more seriously. But I've enjoyed it. And I think it's the hope that kills you, Ant. You could see the trophy. It was within clutching distance, and actually for me it was never really an option. So I'm quite happy. I'm quite content.
Well, Mike, you always give good advice. You just don't follow that same said advice. So if you did actually follow your advice and maybe don't make 7 transfers a week, you actually predict stuff that comes true. Well, some stuff that comes true.
Yeah, some. When I put together the highlights reel, it wasn't everything that Mike said.
That is true.
And I should. The highlights reel isn't exclusively Mike saying things that were wrong. But it's mainly that. Yeah, mainly that.
We can all learn lessons.
Absolutely. Did you boys manage to watch any of the games today? Because it was great they were all on at the same time.
I wasn't sure which game to watch. I was torn. Leicester Spurs, Liverpool Crystal Palace, Chelsea Villa. I opted for Peter Rabbit 2 in the end, and it was.
Sound like me. Was it good?
I'll be honest, lads. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen, but the company was fantastic. Yes.
Wow. Oh, poor James
Yeah.
Corden. I say poor James
Yeah.
Corden. I mean, he's very rich.
He's everywhere, isn't he?
He really is. America absolutely loves him.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, sorry, no, I didn't watch any of the football, but I did follow the scores as best I could, followed by the occasional tut of the people around me in the cinema.
I actually did. Well, I watched the second half of the Leicester Spurs game, which was actually really good. I turned it on when Leicester were 2-1 up. And to be fair to Spurs, nothing. Well, they got in 7th place in the end, but they turned that game around really well. Actually, Leicester will be kicking themselves because they were 10 minutes away from Champions League, and Kasper Schmeichel, who's done so well this season, punched one in his own net, which wasn't ideal. When Gareth Bale came on, kind of last 20 minutes or so, looked really lively for Spurs. But at one point Chelsea were not in there. Chelsea ended up losing, of course, didn't they? And they were not in the 4th place at one point, which we're all quite happy about. And poor old Leicester, 2nd year running. Talk about me bottling it the last 2 seasons. They really have. Right at the end of the season, they should have gotten the Champions League and they failed. So but it was so nice to have so many games on together at the same time. It's the thing with the COVID and the format of like 1 3 o'clock game on a Saturday has been a bit rubbish. So really nice having all the games on together. Actually,
little stat for you on Leicester. Actually, over the last 2 seasons, no team has spent more weeks in the top 4 than Leicester City.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, where's your you're not reading the catchphrase out?
I've got a stat for that. Yeah.
Opta's back.
Yeah, no, that's actually I heard it somewhere, not Opta, but yeah,
great.
That's staggering, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah, that's crazy. But
that I think that Barnes injury has affected Leicester. I mean, they were in full flow with Barnes, and when he got injured, that was
Justin James, who me and Mike both had, I think, since game week 1. I think every team gets injuries, and it swings and roundabouts. But I think Leicester were a little bit unlucky. But James Justin was one who was could have potentially been in there for the England team, unless he's from Northern Ireland. So there we go, boys. But did you get to watch it, Phil?
I got to watch the first half at my sister-in-law's, which was cool, the Leicester Spurs game, and then we came home and we watched the second half. And I had another game on my phone. So I had 2 things on. And I told the children, this is the last game of the season. I am watching these, please. And I watched them and I was flicking between games. It was, there was a lot going on. And when I saw West Ham had scored twice and I knew your captain was Antonio, I was fearing the worst, especially after, at that point, Bamford wasn't playing. It was pretty special. It was nice to see all the games at the same time. It was nice to have loads of stuff happening at once. It was a bit frantic. That's what I love about football.
What about Man U's team, boys? I mean, there was a couple of names that I don't think I'd ever heard of.
Fernandes wasn't even in the squad.
No,
Was he?
not even in the squad. No. So you called that though, Phil, didn't you? You did say that last week that Fernandes was likely not to play with the Europa League final on the horizon, and so it proved to be the case.
Well, I benched him so I could get Iheanacho's 2 points. So that was a joy.
He didn't have the best game, did he? Old Iheanacho, by his high standards recently, he's been on fire, but he wasn't on it today at all, from what I saw.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, Leicester struggled. I mean, they scored the 2 goals they scored were penalties, weren't they? It was like the start of the season again. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. So there we go, boys.
Maybe we could cheer you up by finding out how your punt got on this week, where we chose a player of under 2% ownership, and maybe that'll cheer you up. How'd you get on with that, mate?
Well, I went Pepe in my team, and I went Pepe in my punt. So 2 goals for him, 13 points. It means nothing at the end of the season here, boys, but I may have just won this week. I don't know, but I have a feeling we had some more punts come in, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, I got Calvin Phillips, who got 6 points.
Oh, lovely.
He scored, which is a really random one to go for. So for 2 of us to get points from our punt was pretty impressive. But not as many as Pepe. Can he make the first hat-trick of the season, Mike?
No. Yeah, sorry, lads, went Almir on, didn't I? And just the 3 points for him.
I thought you went Matt Ritchie.
Oh yeah, I did go Matt Ritchie. What did he do?
He got an assist.
No, he didn't. Did he?
Let me just check.
Mr. Willock scored yet again, didn't he? Was that the 7th game running for him?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Ritchie got 9 points.
Oh, look at that,
unlucky.
lads.
That's how ironic, boys. The last game of the season, we all have a punt come in. Look at that.
Yeah.
Assist, clean sheet, 3 bonus points.
Oh, I'll come back to Bournemouth, please.
So yeah, look at that. What a lovely way to end the season.
Well, that's very joyful. But yeah, old Pepe. Was it 4 goals last 2 games for him? You
Yeah.
wonder where that form's been for the rest of the season, don't you? Really, £72 million. Yeah, I mean, why is he suddenly playing now? Random one, but yeah.
He's shown flashes, certainly in the last few months. He's shown flashes, but nowhere near consistent enough. But that isn't that Arsenal.
Yeah,
full
that's
stop.
Arsenal all over. Yeah.
Yeah, what I would say about Pepe, Ant, just to, I don't know if you can use this angle at all, but well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the top of our league.
Okay.
It was Stephan de Jong who was ahead against FPL McMahon. FPL McMahon managed to get 58 points, and
Nice.
it's nice, but Stephan was a good 30 points ahead, so Stephan needs to have had a bad week. And Stephan had a blinder, 76 points.
Wow, who did he have?
Well, Ant, this is where you might want to try and stake a claim for being joint first in the league, because I remember last week you suggested Pepe, and I can only imagine that Stephan took your advice and ran with it.
Yeah.
He must have looked at you and thought he looks like a shrewd gentleman.
Thank you.
16 points for Pepe. He captained Salah. He had Kane. He had Kufau, Bamford, Dubravka again, Rafinha, Trent.
Very nice.
And so he's on 76 points. So the winner, the first ever winner of the Fantasy Threesome FPL Podcast League is Stephan de Jong. Congratulations, Stephan.
Stephan, he absolutely smashed it, didn't he? I didn't see that man have a bad week. So well done, Stephan. You won comfortably in the end.
You won comfortably, and your prize is yet to be conceived of.
Conceived of?
Yeah, it's not baby. Your prize is yet to be determined. Would have been better turn.
I was going to say I don't know how we courier a baby to Holland. That's the only problem.
I mean, if you remember last week, he lives near Burnley.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, actually,
he hails from Holland.
Right? Yeah. So I missed that. Last week.
Your connection was duff, wasn't it?
It was dreadful. Oh, well, there you go.
So Phil's favourite place, Burnley. I'm not sure if he's ever mentioned it.
I've never been there. I have been to, I think Manchester's as north as I've been.
Wow.
Yeah.
Steady
apart
on,
from
mate.
Iceland, but that isn't in this country. Anyway, it's largely irrelevant. Okay, gents. So we've done well with our punts, and we've established that between us 3, I won the league. So
well done, mate.
Happy days. Happy days. So let's think back then. We all remember the days of calling Dele Alli in to our squads at the start of the season. What has been your favourite moment or moments of the season, Anthony?
I think it's been Mike singing and his puns. Oh, okay. If you're talking about FPL, actually, my favourite moment of the season was when I got Gundogan in before everyone jumped on his bandwagon early on in the season. Was it around Christmas time? I think I brought him in, and he just had worked his way into the Manchester City team and started on those weeks where he was flying, and you boys didn't have him, and that was certainly, I think that was around that time that I'd made I was on a bit of a purple patch, and that was around the time, Phil, that you were having a mare around double game weeks, and I think I got nearly 100 points more than you in 1 week around that double game week.
Yeah, he did.
So that, he was only on about 6% ownership, something like that, when I bought him in. So that was a real shrewd one, probably the best one I did really all season. And that was, unfortunately for me, as good as it got. But yeah, that would be my best moment, definitely.
That was I think game week 19, was it? There's a double game week, and it had been talked up for a few weeks on the Twitter community, with the Twitter community, and I was pumped for it. I'd planned really well for it, I thought, and I ended up with 51 points. Which was disappointing, because I think most of my players were playing twice. So you've got to do some pretty bad things to end up on 51. And when Gundogan came in, I mean, there's a lesson there, because you picked him because De Bruyne got injured.
And yeah, I picked him off the back of. I remember that the game before I brought him in, I was watching the Chelsea Man City game, and he looked really good in that game. Scored, and I think I had like you say, I had an injury around that time, and he was cheap. Not many people had him. I brought him in, and off he went. But yeah, he
It's quite interesting. You've been quite vocal about the fact that you've not really watched any football for the last 3 or 4 months, and that does appear to have coincided with your drop off in form.
It's very true.
You mentioned there things you spotted in the game, and I wonder as FPL players just how important it is that we do go off actually what we see rather than what we read in terms of stats.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of football this season in terms of Premier League, so I have been going off reputation or off stats. So,
I mean, I don't know if it's fair to the people who do use stats. If you are our example of people who use stats,
no, sure. I mean, I've used stats, but averaged 5 transfers a week.
Yeah.
Have you still got that spreadsheet that you had on like game week 1 when you had was it the first 13 game weeks planned out?
It's in the archive somewhere, and
love that.
Yeah,
love that spreadsheet.
Because I have watched a lot of football this season. It's been pretty much possible for me to have a game on the tablet on the side, just whilst we're watching, I don't know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something with my wife.
Homes Under the Hammer.
I mean, some of us have got a job. But yeah, Dion and his doob.
Good on.
But yeah, I'll have it on the side, and it's been possible to view an awful lot of football this season. And I don't read into stats. I'm still not 100% sure what XG means. I know it's something to do with the amount of shots or the best
Expected
position
goals,
for shots.
isn't it?
Yeah. But I fear that if I got involved in looking at XG, then I would take this game too seriously. And I'm not saying people that look at XG take the game too seriously, but I think if I personally did, I would find myself engrossed in a load of stuff that I can't really be bothered with, and it would be a bit full on.
Do they call it XG because EG has already been taken? Is that?
I'd expect that to be the answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably yeah.
Because actually, ironically, EX would be better, for example. Anyway, look, it's now's probably not the time, but perhaps I could get some people in a room somewhere we can just thrash that out and get that sorted.
If anyone can, you can. Mike, what's been your highlight of the season?
Well, obviously, my highlight is when somebody else was in control of my team, and when FPL Beery captained John Stones for me, doubled up 26 to 52. 52 points in one game week from one player was a pretty exceptional return. So
it was 54. I remember because
I was 54.
Because I only had 51 points that whole week in my whole team.
I remember say that. Was that John Stones hadn't scored for Man City, had he, until that game, and then he scored twice?
That's right.
No.
Incredible.
Yeah, so that was the highlight. There've been very few highlights where I've actually been in control.
Yeah, I can imagine that is the case. My highlight, I rarely, I captaincy at the start of the season. That was good. I started the season with first week I had Salah, he got a hat trick. Second week I had Calvert-Lewin's my captain, picked by Mickey, and he got a hat trick. And then latterly in the season, I had Chris Wood, who got a hat trick, and Gareth Bale, who had a hat trick. So 4 hat tricks across the season, which for me is unheard of. And the most passionate I've celebrated a goal, raw emotion based on this game only, was I was cooking in the kitchen when Liverpool were playing West Ham, and Salah scored that goal where he, like, the first touch, he killed the ball, and then he finished it, and he scored twice in that game, and I danced around the kitchen like a nutcase. That was definitely my highlight. And what about your low light?
Probably now.
Right this minute.
Right now, boys, I'm just in a whole world of pain. I just got over the fact that Bournemouth lost yesterday in the playoff semi-final, and then got struck down by this today. But hey, it's just a game, boys. The last 6 weeks really, haven't had a good score in there at all. Hence why you've been able to gain over 100 points. In fact, I think looking today, my 10-year-olds thrashed me in the last 6 weeks as well. So there you go. Real whimper to end the season on. yeah, that's got to be the lows. Until that, I was having a great season, really. My best ever season. I was on to finish in the top 100Ks. There wasn't really too many bad points up until that point. So, yeah, there you go. C'est la vie. There's always next season, boys.
You still had your best season points-wise.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, but it could and should have been better. But yeah, let's try and be glass half full here. Yeah, that's very true. It's still a good season all round, I'd suggest. And I saw on one of the mini leagues I'm in, I did still win that. So all is not lost.
Just as a slight aside, just to say that there is life outside the Premier League. There is one hell of a game going on at Forest Green in the League Two playoffs. Like,
come on, Forest Green,
absolutely insane.
Come on.
Well. So Forest Green were 2-0 down going into this leg. They went 3-0 up and were on to win. And then Newport pulled one back, then pulled another. Then Forest Green equalised like the 87th minute to take it to extra time. And now in the 119th minute, Newport have just got a goal to take them 5-4 up on aggregate with 30 seconds until the penalty shootout.
Oh my days.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
You can't beat the playoffs for drama, can you? I mean, if you don't support a team in the playoffs as a neutral, they are amazing to watch. There's always something that happens. Even our game, yesterday when Brentford decided in the 5th minute to not leave a defender back from one of their corners, was fairly hilarious. But yeah,
we saw in the Cherries game yesterday. We saw a goalkeeper being flagged for offside.
Oh, Begovic. Oh, bless him.
Which was remarkable. But actually, the free kick that was swung in for him to then be flagged offside, we for some reason had 2 men behind the free kick as a who was going to take it scenario. You do wonder, if you've got your keeper in the box, do you really need a choice of 2 players behind the ball as to who's swinging it in? But hey, listen, that's
we also from that game saw the power of the crowd being back, didn't we? Because I think we may be biased here, but we all agreed and kind of spoke about that. We think Brentford possibly got their penalty on the power of the home crowd cheering for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was soft and harsh, I would suggest. And I think a big part of that was Brentford.
And bringing it back to the Premier League, we saw a lot of home wins today. A lot of home wins.
Yeah.
Which haven't, away wins haven't been at such a premium this season. Interesting to see next season if players revert to site, because I think that psychological edge of playing away that had started to fade, but it's straight away with fans back in this weekend and last, you start to see home wins coming to the fore again. Low lights for me, Phil.
7 out of 10.
Oh, there you go. Low lights for me. It's just been a bit of a in terms of the game. It's been a constant disappointment, really. Let's be honest. It's just, I think this week is a good example. Transferring in a goalkeeper who isn't going to play. There was the week when I transferred in Seamus Coleman live on the podcast at point of recording, only to find out he was injured. Or maybe even suspended. I can't remember. One of the two.
He was injured. You put him in live on air, and then Phil went, "You do realise he's injured."
I like to be spontaneous, lads. I like to be impulsive, but it does sometimes get me in trouble.
We could do a highlights reel just on you, Mike, this season, to be honest.
Wow.
Don't worry, because that's, as I said earlier, that's pretty much what we're going to have at the end of the show.
Amazing. I can't wait for this.
The the transfers thing is interesting because we play it for fun. You boys aren't really on Twitter that much, but there are occasionally leaked team lineups that do affect and give an advantage to people who are keeping an eye out for them. So, how do you boys feel about that? Is it something that makes you think, all right, I'm going to get on Twitter and keep see if I can spot them, or are you just not bothered? You just prefer to play the game as a purist?
Exactly that, mate. Yeah, play it as a purist.
I haven't got the time to be trawling Twitter for team leaks. I'll have a bit of an educated guess from week to week as to we've highlighted that Man United were going to probably rest players. Likewise, maybe Chelsea and Man City might do with the Champions League final in mind. But no, beyond that, I haven't got the time or the energy to be trawling social media to find out about team leagues.
I think
also I normally make my transfers for the following game week during the existing game week. So unless those leaks are coming out very early on, chances are they won't impact me.
Yeah, I think you've got to take the game really seriously, haven't you? You've really got to be one of those who's really in it to win it, to be looking for league team news. I think. I don't think that's any of us, is it really?
No, you're right. My worst moment of the season was I was working from home, and on my lunch break, I saw someone say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to captain Sterling." A bit of a long shot. I'm captain Sterling. I think that week maybe everyone was captaining Bruno or something, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with you on that. I'll captain Sterling." Sterling was a victim of pep roulette. But he did. Good news. He came on with 10 minutes to go and missed a penalty for me. So I think it was -3 or -4 for that captaincy. That's definitely a low light. I think our mate Darren, he had Vestergaard when he got -7.
Yeah,
remember
he did.
that game?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Because he got sent off and conceded.
He conceded no goal and then got sent off. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was United won 9-0 at Saints, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
It was staggering.
Again.
Okay, highlights and lowlights. We'll get on to some players that we've enjoyed this season. Mike, before we do that, you did win the punt. Have you got a game for me and Ant?
Oh no, I was coming into this blissfully not having done any preparation, but I can very quickly get one sorted for you.
You get thinking about that.
I mean, I actually won the punt, boys, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot again.
Sorry, Ant. We just associate losing with you at this stage. I'm really sorry.
That's brutal. Absolutely. Just stick the knife in, mate. Why not?
Sorry, have you got a game?
That's fine. I haven't got a game now. I presumed we'd not be doing. I can quickly come up with a game, boys, if you want.
Yeah, go on. You come up with one. See if you can beat Player or Cheese or Willick or Pillock.
Oh, I mean, there isn't a game that can beat Player or Cheese, is there? I mean, that's one of the highlights. All right, well, you boys talk amongst yourselves, and I'll dig something out. All right,
Mike, your pun 11s, which I don't think I dropped. I don't think I dropped them from the podcast, but your sweary 11 did cause me to have to, tick some box and make this podcast non-child friendly.
I think the takeaway 11 was the point at which you said, "All right, Mike, we've all had fun," but
the sweary 11 was definitely the best.
Yeah.
I feel like the chocolate 11 you did. I think I came up with 2 after your 11 that I think maybe made you a bit upset because deep down you knew they were better than what you had put in.
Yeah, there could have been a bit of that. I think Chicken Chow Meslier was, that was a low point. That was a low point for me. I enjoyed the pun 11s. Maybe they'll make a comeback next season. Who knows? I mean, you're in charge really of this.
Well, I'm not in charge. I just
you're the captain of the ship, and that's fine. I'm the court. I'm the court jester, but I'm the cabaret, if you will, of the ship.
You are a brilliant anchor, mate. You really are.
Thank you very
much.
To
Phil, by the way, here, not Mike.
Oh, I see. Oh, I do apologise.
The anchor of the show.
You're letting out some rhyme-based abuse at me, Ant, because I beat you.
Oh, the mind games are still going on. I love it. Boys, do you fancy a little game of every second mounts, just for old time's sake?
I'd love that.
Yeah, I'd like that. I think the listeners, they expect some sort of quiz, and to not give that to them would be disappointing.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I've just quickly here, boys, just found some defensive numbers here. So I'm looking for defenders who have scored more than 120 FPL points this season, and there is 17 of them apparently.
There are 17 of them. Yeah.
Oh, you've just looked them up, haven't you?
No, I've just turned the singular into a plural. Sorry, carry on.
Thank you, Mike. As you came second in the punt, why didn't you pick a number first, mate?
Okay, the 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with 8.
Oh, I was 100% convinced you were going to go 6.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll go 9.
Oh wow. Oh,
There's nothing rests on
gay
this, so I'll
abandonment
have
here, Phil. I love it.
I am full of gay abandon.
I'll let you wallow in that gay abandon, Phil. Over to you.
Thank you.
So
There's an offer.
Defenders, Phil. Okay, just to clarify, only defenders, please.
Okay. So I'll go with Dallas.
Yeah, he came top, 171 points.
Pretty much struggling now.
Good.
John Stones.
Yes, 128 points.
Sticking with City, Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, 142.
I don't know how much I should stick with City. It feels like maybe I should say Trent.
Yeah, he came third, 160.
Which is quite an impressive season given the start he had.
Yeah, no, quite exactly. Yeah, he was getting quite a lot of criticism, wasn't he, fairly early on in the season? So, Phil, did you say you got to find 10?
Oh, God, no, 9. I think.
No,
Now, just thinking about it, I don't think Big Nat Phillips wasn't. He wasn't in the squad early enough, so not Big Nat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with. I can't really think of. I'm going to go a bit left field because I know he got loads of points for you earlier in the season, Ant, and I am going to say Kurt Zuma. And at that point, I've lost.
Yeah, that is a hilarious answer because he's not played for like more than half the season.
Oh, knowing Bree, knowing Zuma, ma.
Not sure where that answer came from, Phil, but
no, I was just trying to think of players who've been scoring headers.
The gay abandonment made you give a rubbish answer there because there's some
I can chuck
really
a few
big
in.
names you missed out. Yeah, go on.
then, mate. You got the chance to steal.
Tyrone Mings.
Correct.
Aaron Cresswell.
Ah, Cresswell, yeah.
Ben Chilwell.
Yep.
Aspilicueta.
-2. Thank you for that. No, Aspilicueta.
He wasn't there. Well, there you go. I had a good run. I got 3 there straight on the bounce.
You did. No, Aspilicueta was just outside 113. Yeah,
Luke Shaw. Did you get Luke Shaw?
Yeah, Luke Shaw. No, he was in there as well. You also missed out Robertson, who was second on the list. Wan-Bissaka with 144 points. Target from Villa. Cancelo, Dunk, Kufau of West Ham, Michael Keane, sat there 127. Maguire, Shaw, and Digne had 120 points. So some big names you missed there, boys.
I'm really sorry, mate. I'm really sorry. Now,
Congratulations on your hollow victory, Mike. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Boys, I'm going to do one round for you two, just so you can have a go as well, Anthony.
Oh, thank you. So kind.
I'll keep it simple. So I'm looking for the top 12 players this year in the whole of FPL.
Oh, okay.
I can name 6.
I'll go 7.
I will let you have that 7.
Okay. Salah?
Is third on the list.
Fernandez?
Is top of the list.
Paddy B?
Paddy B. Imagine this, Mike. Imagine this at the start of the season.
I don't want to hear it.
5th on the list of the whole of fantasy football. Patrick Bamford.
Well.
Kane?
2nd on the list, yes. Now what?
How many have I said? 4.
You said 4. You got 3 to find.
And how many is it? The top 10? Did you say?
12.
Top 12. Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, he's just behind Bamford.
Ollie Watkins.
Good one. He's 11th.
So we just said Dallas was a defender, so he's got to be there. Dallas?
Correct.
Oh,
Correct. So you've won it. So well played, mate.
there
You
we
could have
go.
also
I
had.
can win something. Imagine that. Oh.
There you go. Your season's going to end on a high.
Well, there we go. Oh, that's lovely news.
Calvert-Lewin, Rashford. I'm amazed that
What?
Rashford had more points than Dallas, Watkins, and Calvert-Lewin.
No.
As did Mane.
Mane did.
Yeah, as did
Wow.
Martinez.
That's
Martinez
insane.
of Villa.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. What a signing he was.
I don't want to let you guys down. So I have got one here.
Oh, okay.
it's the
Are we doing this because now there's a chance Ant still doesn't win?
Yeah. Joe. Go in association with Joe.co.uk. They ranked the Premier League managers top 10 in terms of best looking. So what I want to hear from you guys is who you think is in the top 10 best looking managers this season.
I'll go
obviously
4.
there are 10 obviously, so
I mean, okay. I don't know what this says about us if we get this right. Okay.
I'm confident on 4.
Okay, I'll go 5. Why not?
6.
Off you go. Enjoy your 6 lovely looking men.
6 of the top 10. Okay, Phil, where are we going first?
I'll start with the obvious ones. Carlo Ancelotti.
What?
Oh, Phil. And just like that, you've lost.
Carlo Ancelotti, good looking. He's about 800 years old.
Oh, but he does...
Tell me about what out of interest, Phil, what would have you rank him right near the top, Carlo?
I believe his demeanour. I think ladies find that attractive. Yeah. I think he'd hold a door open for you.
Can I name some?
Of course you can. Ant's busted too. Go on, Ant. Yeah.
I'm buzzing now, boys. Buzzing now. Scott Parker.
Of course he is. He's number 1 on the list.
Come on,
Number
Phil.
1.
I mean, this is
dreamy.
Prettier than Carlo Ancelotti.
Ancelotti. I can't believe the answer. This is probably This is now turned into my highlight. This has.
Scott Parker looks like he was in 5, 20 years ago. Okay, yeah. And who else?
Mikel Arteta.
Number 3 on the list, although he has got Lego hair.
Lego hair?
Yeah, looks like a waxwork as well. He looks like he's constantly got a filter on, like an Instagram filter.
Pep.
Pep. Yeah, number 6 on the list.
What
is it about Pep that you find so brooding?
Just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bald head as well.
You like a man in a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Who else have we got?
Got to be old Brucey, isn't it? Old Steve Bruce.
Oh, Brucey, yeah. Roy Hodgson.
Right. Unfortunately, Roy Hodgson was bottom of the league.
Oh yes, Bruce didn't come last.
Bruce and his massive nose. What about who else is there? Oh,
not Solskjaer. I don't think. No one wants to kiss a baby.
Solskjaer just scraped into the top 10.
What? And Ancelotti didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Ancelotti is less handsome than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Correct.
That's what the readers of Joe.co.uk are saying.
I don't know what Joe.co.uk is, but I won't be going there.
And you mentioned and you asked about Tuchel. Yeah, number 2 on the list.
Wow.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this pre Ryan Mason?
Ryan Mason's not on the list, I'm afraid. This was just before. I'll run you through the list. If you've got any observations you'd like to share, then just shout. So Scott Parker number 1, Tuchel number 2, Arteta number 3, Jose was number 4. Of course, I wouldn't expect you to go for Jose because he's not currently employed, but at the time of the poll, he was. Number 5, Jurgen Klopp, great veneer. 6, Guardiola. 7, I'm going to say this is slightly controversial. Sean Dyche.
What?
Stone Cold Steve Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Oh, the gravelly voice.
Number 8, Dean Smith. Number 9, Graham Potter. I would have had those 2 the other way around myself, but
Dean Smith in the top 10. That's insane.
I mean, Dean Smith is more handsome than Carlo Ancelotti.
Right, Phil. I know your wife will be in the same room as you, so if you could just put up a picture of the 2 of them quickly, and just ask her who her favourite is.
I'll do that.
I'll move through the list. Hasenhüttl, just outside the top 10. Nuno, David Moyes, Ancelotti, Bielsa. Lovely Bielsa.
Oh,
Steve Bruce, Chris Wilder, harshly done by down in 18th.
Yeah. Wow.
And Hodgson is just kept off the bottom spot by Sam Allardyce.
Sam.
There we go. Right. Okay. Phil is muted, but is now just asking.
Okay, I'm showing my wife this picture of Dean Smith. So
he
remember that?
Like a thug.
Maybe score him out of 100 in your head, Holly. Just
score him out of 100 in your head, please. Out of 100. You've seen him.
Her eyes just lit up.
I'm going to do the same with my wife.
I mean, compared to you, Phil, I mean, both of these guys are going to look quite amazing.
I'll borrow you a minute.
Okay, so then I will
We are
find.
live on YouTube, but can I just borrow you for a second?
I will find this
Come on
picture.
in. My wife's coming in.
I mean, as
Okay.
we know, your wife has very
She's
good
got
taste when it
impeccable
comes
taste.
to men. Indeed.
So I'd
yeah.
like you to just judge these two men for me, if you could.
Okay, and now
There's
I've got
number
another
one.
picture. I've got a picture here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of what? Out of 100. So which one's prettier? Which was prettier?
Or
Him. Here, Ancelotti. My wife
That
says
guy.
Ancelotti.
Oh,
I mean, that's like
it's
saying
best of a bad
your
lot.
grandparents are attractive.
sorry, boys, bear with me a second. I've got my wife. She's live here. So
It's the best of a bad lot.
well, it's not the best of bad lot. We just want to clarify.
They are no Michael Botto.
You want to see the other one again?
Yeah,
It's most
I mean,
attractive.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's most attractive?
yeah, I think we all know. It's Ancelotti.
This-
Clear cut.
This one, I guess.
This one here. She's gone Dean Smith.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, she chose you.
She did choose me.
Does
Oh.
look like you.
What? Dean Smith looks like me. Wait, I'm Italian. Surely Carlo
Oh,
Ancelotti
Claire.
looks like me.
Yeah, but
Hashtag best wife.
You've just seen a picture of her belly, haven't you?
You highlighted the season. You highlighted the season. Dean
So-
Smith looks like Mike.
Hold on. So I don't know if you can see the ill-fitting sportswear.
Oh,
that's
wow.
what she's saying means it looks like me.
That's what I see every day.
That is what you see.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
thank you, Claire. Thanks very much. Bye bye now.
Can we get her on the pod every week?
That won't be happening again.
Just when you think Peter Rabbit 2 couldn't get any worse for Mike's day,
yeah.
now that happens. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh, dear. What a day it's
Beautiful
been.
stuff.
What a day it's been.
Well, this has
Dear,
turned
oh
out far more joyous than I expected. This is great.
dear. Dean Smith looks like you. What a comment.
Wow.
This is nearly as good as old Eurovision last night, boys, which was thoroughly enjoyable.
Oh, very
lot of
late
fun.
night, but I did enjoy Eurovision. Yeah.
Really did.
So we'll quickly we'll just go through positions and then we'll get to our highlights. So your goalie of the season, then, Anthony.
I know it's really boring, but you can't look past Martinez, can you? He finished top with 186 points, 26 points, more than any other goalkeeper. And I think he was someone when he did play for Arsenal, always done well, and people had flagged up if he got a move and was a goalkeeper who played every week, he could do really well, and so that proved he was a brilliant signing. I mean, Villa had a great season, didn't they? They stayed up at our expense last season by the skins of their teeth, or potentially by a VAR decision against Sheffield United, and they've been brilliant. They've been the surprise package for me this season. They've had a great season, and he was a huge part of that. And for me, I got him in probably half around the season, and yeah, I think he's got to be number one. The stats don't lie.
Yeah.
Well, he also got the most bonus points of any keeper this season with 27. I'm gonna plumb for somebody who I had at no point during the season, which is remarkable. Really, they're few and far between. But I'm going to go for Sam Johnson of West Brom. But in terms of value, I think because he never rose above 4.6 million. So if you look at a lot of players, their price jumps, but he was, in terms of scores, he was number 4 in terms of the rankings this season. But like I say, never ever went above 4.6 mil. So represented some good value.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Mesdier of Leeds. Not necessarily points wise, he couldn't keep up. I mean, he came third. He couldn't keep up with Martinez by the end of the season. But watching the games that I've seen, he's made some incredible saves. And for someone who looks about 10, that is impressive. So three different keepers there then. And defenders?
Again, he was a man who I had in long before he had the ownership that he has now, which was 33%. It's Dallas. Leeds have been brilliant this season. We've all kind of regretted to had to admit that we've all kind of loved watching Leeds this season, haven't we? And the way they play, and Dallas steps forward. I mean, for him to finish top in points, heads of the likes of Robertson and TAA and Wan-Bissaka and the like. I think he's just been brilliant. He's got some great goals this season, boys, as well. And I had him in really, really early on in the season when he had low ownership, and he was getting me points all over the shop. So he would be my pick.
I'm going to go for Justin James. Up until game week 22, that boy was flying, absolutely flying. In the 22 game weeks prior to his injury, there were 10 occasions where he got 6 or more points. He was an attacking threat. even if he wasn't picking up points for clean sheets. So really gutted that he was injured, because I think he would have been with a shout for the England squad. So James Justin for me. Phil?
Yep. I'm going to go for someone I didn't own all season, but regularly punished me in mini leagues, and that was Vladimir Kufal. I'm going to go Kufal. I'm unsure if it's Kufal or Sufal, but Kufal. He got 9 assists throughout the season, which, for a very cheap defender is pretty good going. He was 4.5 million at the start of the season. He rose to only 4.8, and he became a bit of a facilitator in a lot of people's teams. So Kufal for me. At midfielder,
I'm going to go Gundogan here. Now, he's one of those players that he came 7th, boys, in the points, and nearly 100 behind Fernandes. But I just thought in that purple patch that he had, he was everywhere, wasn't he? He was getting points all over the shop, and he was being talked about being player of the season and all sorts. His season tailed off a little bit near the end when he became a victim of Pep Roulette and a couple of injuries. But in that purple patch, that couple of months, he was unbelievable. I mean, he picked up so many points. He picked up a real big bulk of points, and that was when I was in my purple patch as well. And I just thought, at times he was unplayable. So had he been played a little bit more, who knows? He maybe could have challenged Fernandes on the points. So he would be my pick.
I'm going to give mine to Souček. Now I know he's going to be quiet the last few weeks. In fact, I'm going to split it. I'm going to give the first half of the season to Souček and the second half to Mason Mount, because both players in that kind of 6 million roughly bracket, who were, to all intents and purposes, they were both surprise packages. I know, I mean, Mason Mount was seen as kind of teacher's pet under Frank Lampard and was getting a game and getting a fair bit of stick from Chelsea fans, but I think he's well and truly proved his worth this season, particularly the second half of the season. And Souček was just a brilliant surprise package. I knew nothing about the guy, didn't ever have him, but yeah, I imagine to have him in your team and watching West Ham games would have been quite fun, particularly when it came to set pieces. So, Phil?
Yeah, I was going to say Souček as well. I did have him when he was having his happy moments, and he just also was a lovely guy. He put a few posts out on social media. He was just a real family guy, and he was great. Anytime there's a corner, you had some sort of hope that he might get on the end of it. I think he ended up on 10 goals, which for someone who plays that role and kept out effectively Mark Noble, who I had in my game week 1 team, unbelievably. That's saying something. So it's 10 goals from that position, I think is great. So obviously I'll go for him. Strikers, Ant?
For me, it's Ollie Watkins. He came in with a big old price tag over his head to Villa in the summer, and I just think he's been brilliant. Finished 4th in terms of strikers this season. Scored 14 league goals, I think. And ironically enough, I had him in 2 or 3 times when he didn't actually do that well. But I think overall, he's handled the pressure of that price tag really well. Villa have had a great season. They've been a surprise package for me. And he's been in the goals this season, so he would be my pick.
Mike?
I think we all know who Mike's going to pick here, don't we, boys? It's good. Paddy B, surely.
No, I'll save that for Phil.
Thank you.
Look at his face.
Look, I've gone for kind of surprise picks with the others. Really, players that have come out of nowhere to be kind of pleasant surprises. But I'm going to go for Mr. Consistency. He's been in my team, I think, every week. I've probably transferred him out and transferred him back in again, midweek. But he'll have been in pretty much every team, I think, and that is Harry Kane. 242 points, nearly 50 points more than anybody else in terms of the game, and a must-have, and very often a must-captain. So, be interesting to see what happens there next. But Harry Kane for me.
Yeah, I've not had Kane in previous seasons. I've not had Kane that much. I don't know why, but this season, like you say, he was essential. And there was that phase at the start of the season where him and Son just kept taking it in turns to score tons of goals. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go for Paddy B. In a season where, let's face it, he came into the season and you laughed him off in our first ever podcast and said that ain't going to happen. You mentioned his conversion rate was like 2% or something. Sorry, hideous last year. For someone who was getting a lot of beef from opposition fans for being useless. He's had an incredible season. I'd love to see him get called up, but I don't think he will for England. He scored 17 goals and got 11 assists, which for a player who started, what price was he at the start? It was 5.5 million at the start, and he rose to 6.8 to 6.9 at one point. So yeah, 17 goals, 11 assists, and I don't know if you remember that game where he was clean for on goal, and he passed it. He could have just summed up the kind of guy he is. So yeah, I'm really happy for Bamford. Now, any sort of surprise, packages, any unsung heroes? There's been a lot of patchy players like Lingard who came in for like a few game weeks and did amazing. But any other standouts?
Iniacho for me. Certainly, again, second half of the season has really come to the fore, and he was a player that basically looked like he was going to become a squad player when Perez came in last season, and didn't really get the breaks, and has come good. And another guy who comes across really nicely. You don't get bonus points for that, sadly, but does come across really well. So, yeah, I mentioned to him, and also earlier on in the season, if I can split it down, the lad from Southampton, big bloke, looks like a Viking, Vestergaard.
Yeah, lovely hair,
yeah. I liked him. Obviously, Southampton have become very, very patchy in the second phase of the season, but yeah.
I think a surprise for me, boys, in a bad way was Mitrovic. We all picked him out, saying what value when he was at the start of the season, and Fulham, I actually thought we were going to step at one point. He never got going, did he, at all? Never got firing at all. Finished on just 63 FPL points. It just didn't happen for him at all, boys.
Him and Werner were the two hot picks to have game week one. I think they were the most popular two strikers in the game.
Yeah, he finished with just 3 league goals and 3 assists. So a really poor outlay there from him. And like you say, the first week everyone had Mitrovic. I think 50%, wasn't it, of them, him and Werner. Yeah. And Werner as well. We thought was going to light up the league, and he did have his moments.
Light up the league. That's a reference to James Newman at Eurovision. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, poor old James.
Right. It was appreciated about as much as James Newman was at Eurovision.
Werner finished on just 6 goals, boys, which is pretty tragic, isn't it, for a striker, especially with the money he went for. So yeah, those two, I'm afraid, are for a surprise in the wrong way. But yeah,
Phil,
it was yours.
Okay, so the last person that I want to laud praise on is a Burnley player, of course, who he won me the league because it was suggested to me by Stephan de Jong that I go for him. So I got Chris Wood in game week 27 or 28. I got him in, and from there he's got goal and assist, blank, hat trick and assist, goal, and then I got rid of him at exactly the right time. So Wood for me was perfect.
Hashtag Merry Chris Wood.
Merry Chris Wood. Yeah, very much so.
He finished 7th highest scoring striker in the game.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad.
Pretty incredible for Chris Wood.
Gents, before I play the highlights reel, which won't be great for people who are watching because I'm playing it just audio. We're going to continue the podcast. It's been our first season, and I really should say thank you to anyone who's downloaded it, listened, even people who watch it on YouTube. Bless your hearts. You must have really bad eyes. We've been supported by, quite a small group of listeners who regularly get in touch, and they're just lovely, lovely guys. I personally have made some good friends online, chatting to them, and we're really grateful for them giving us a chance as a show that for fantasy football players who are trying to do well, we don't really provide much helpful insight. To be,
I don't know, have you heard some of Mike's advice? I think we're about to.
And so, for them to give us a chance when there's plenty of podcasts out there that can help them, for them to suffer along with us, we've been really grateful, and it's been great fun interacting with them. So thanks for that. And we will be looking at maybe I think we're going to do a Euros one, and then continue on into next season. Because we want to. For us, it's been a great way to keep in touch with each other, and to be honest, to perk us up. Some weeks, it's been really hard during lockdown and stuff, and so it's been great to be able to chat with you two, and then actually have people listen and join in. It's been great.
I wonder how we fill the void. Post Euros, is there an event we could? I saw there was actually a fantasy Eurovision out there last night, which I saw too late to get involved on.
Yes.
Fancy Formula One. I'm not sure I can bring myself to do it. But
I shush because I have recorded the Formula One. I'll be watching it later.
Fantasy.
Don't talk.
Fantasy Olympics.
Well, I would like to think that if we have got to fill some stuff up, maybe the listeners can give us some subjects, and we will work through and argue and debate the top 20 of whatever it might be. Foods, films, whatever.
Is it player or cheese?
I mean, we could just fill it out with player or cheese. An hour of player or cheese.
Player or object.
But yeah, we will be continuing the podcasts, even if it's just for small talk. We enjoy them, and people have asked us the question, so we will be continuing them throughout the summer. So here is the highlights reel, and then I'll let Mike sing us out. So you've got a bit of time to prepare, but yeah, thanks again everyone for listening. We're up to 16 subscribers on YouTube, which is staggering. So thanks for you guys as well.
Wow.
Yep.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Bring on the Euros, boys. Bring on the Euros.
And yeah, so we'll just listen to this, and I'll just get a quick feedback afterwards, and then we'll say bye. Enjoy these, guys. Enjoy these. I was all aboard the Bamford train, so overjoyed to see him score again.
I don't think Mike's going to leave that one down, is he?
Oh, it's driving me mad.
Paddy B.
Honestly, boys, he will be. Anyway, I'll leave it for later. Later. Yeah, and that'll be the last of it.
I'm sticking by the fact that for me, he's going to be last. This season's Pookie from last season. Pookie, the goals dried up very quickly, didn't they? He had a flying start. Everyone brought him in, and then the goals dried up.
Won't score again this season.
And Mike is the Tinkerman. He, on average, about 80 transfers a season, something like that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I taught Ranieri in his season at Chelsea. I taught him everything he knows, and the song "Changes" by David Bowie, that was written about me. Conser, is he all right? I think he's okay, isn't he? Yeah, I'm going to bring him in. Done.
Oh wow!
Oh no, I've already got 3 Aston Villa players.
Oh dear.
That is disappointing. Okay.
I mean, the lack of thought you're putting into this sometimes, perhaps your issues. So
Slapdash at best, I would describe it as. I mean, this is the man changing his team live on air, people.
Why don't you wait and listen to the listener questions that maybe might influence your decision and give you a bit of guidance, Mike?
That's too late. I've gone Seamus Coleman. Yeah. There you go. So that was, although he's 75%. I should have looked at that before.
Oh no!
Have you done it?
Yeah. Oh no. I've lost count now, but I think I'm closing in on 300. How about you, Jay?
I don't even want to count. every time I start the week, I think I'm not going to do anything until the end of the week, and I listen to your pod on a Monday night. And then when I'm making transfers the next day, I need to find a remedy for this.
Yeah. Well, you and me both.
You should know by now.
It's an absolute trap.
Yeah, you should know by now. Never listen to Mike. Never.
True story.
He sounds so convincing. Do you know? He sounds like I think, okay.
You can tell he's in sales.
Yeah.
The numbers on Mike at one point. I think it was when you said that he was in the 220s, and I believe he had transferred out on average every week his starting 11 twice.
Yeah.
That is a great start.
Itchy fingers. This is the problem.
You feel when we were declaring our punts last week.
Is it about how much?
What the heck is going on in the background there, Anthony?
Oh, I'm very sorry. I've just got some work going on in my house. I do apologise.
Gosh, sounds like someone's hammering my head. This is going to make for wonderful audio. And I'd like to think that Marcus knows that that's why I rewarded him.
Michael Rashford, MBE, no less, I believe.
Michael Rashford?
Marcus Rashford, even.
Well, got an MBE and a name change. Stadium of Sports also asks, is Brewster at 4.5 capable of being as good as some of the 6 to 6.5 million strikers? Well, can you put him in your team? I touched on this last week. I've got him in my team. And I think at 4.5, I think there's potential price rise coming, but at 4.5 at time of recording, he represents value. And I think he has the potential to outscore Mitrovic and maybe even Watkins. I don't know, but he's going to play every week. Do you want to read out the questions this week?
Yeah, sure. Let me just dig them out. We've got some big questions here, boys. Are we ready? Our first one from
How big? Because there's been a lot of rambling already.
Yeah, okay. Liam from the lovely part of the world, Ramsbottom. Hello, Liam. Thank you for your question. Here it is, boys. Are we ready? Are there any Arsenal assholes that? Oh my goodness!
I mean, a lot of their fans are. So if you watch that Arsenal fan TV, most of them are assholes. If I could just take a little bit of credit for Danny Ings' success, his career really. Okay, just a little bit. You may recall, actually, I think you boys might have been with me. I went to a pre-season friendly for AFC Bournemouth against, Hamworthy. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Lovely burgers at Hamworthy. Lovely burgers.
That's right, yeah. And if you were lucky, you'd get one before the second half had finished. And not that I'm bitter. Yes, I remember watching Danny Ings that night and making a point of going out to. He was a youngster in the youth team at the time, and I think I pulled him to one side, made a point of taking him to one side. I said, Danny, just to say, I've seen very few young players have that kind of quality on the ball at such a young age, and I think you'll go far, young man. And he hasn't been back to me on that, but I'm pretty sure those words have stuck with him. And I haven't got confirmation of this, but I'm pretty sure they're maybe inscribed on the inside of his boots.
Mike, do you still think Spurs can win the title?
Yeah, I do. I think Spurs are going to win it. I stand by that. And I know it's not probably what the majority will go with. I think they'll probably. You're right to look at City and Liverpool first. They're the bookies' favourites far and away. But there's a real depth to that squad now. I think at Spurs that actually. I think they've got more squad depth at Spurs than they have at City or Liverpool. And then we should talk about my captain. Yes, we should talk about your captain. Do you mind if I take over when it comes to your captain, Mike?
Yeah,
sure, go for it.
Ridiculous.
So you may remember, listeners and viewers, we did a YouTube-only podcast last week because we were very, very short on time, and so you would all have been viewers if you saw it. And Mike lost the game that we did, and therefore his captain was going to be picked by a listener. Now, this episode should become the FPL Beery tribute episode. Mike had his captain picked by FPL Beery, who won our competition on Twitter, and he chose John Stones, which at the time, Mike, you weren't that happy with, were you? Well, I think I threatened to kill him. There was definitely a death threat, yeah. Yeah, in jest, obviously. I mean, look, sometimes the stars align, lads, and it was meant to be. The gods were smiling on me.
I mean, Stone's scoring was ridiculous. He'd never scored a Premier League goal for Manchester City before last week. That's how ridiculous that was. And he scored twice. Unbelievable.
Yes, he did. 2 clean sheets, 2 goals. It was an inspired pick anyway, lads, because he would have got me 27 points with regardless of the captaincy. But yeah, we doubled that up to a whopping 54 points. Yeah, I mean, let's FPL Beery. We'll give pretty points to Stones. And how many points I ended up with? 51. So
You've got nothing to lose from here, have you? Because if you do beat me from here, then I'll never want to talk to you again. Because you will be unbearable. Our next question then from Mr. Lanius. And are you now quaking in your boots because I gained some points on you? Well, we know how mentally weak I am, mate, and normally you were quite good at getting inside my head. So, but no, actually, on this occasion, no, I'm not. No, I'm pretty confident that I can hold you off. I'm still aiming for that top 3, boys. I'm still aiming for that podium place.
Sissoko, Loris, Chris Wood, Van Matter, Jim Dunn.
Good times.
Wijnaldum, Garcia, Johan Berg, Goodmanson, Leno, Diaz, Chris Wood, Iwobi, Allen, Shaqiri, Almiron, Rivold, Batlon, Long, Jan Bellery, Seri, Chris Wood, Maneda Lapa, Eustace, holding it together, Nick Pope, Mitchell, Gundogan, Click Loughton, here.
There we go, gents. Emotional times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to start really. One thing that did very much was apparent was how often I was eating in the clips.
I was considering a compilation of all the things you've said you've been eating and drinking, because certainly for at least the first half of the season, almost every week it was, what are you eating? Oh, a Muller yogurt, or I've just had chips, or there was always something, wasn't there?
Well, I like to combine it. A few snacks on the go while I sit and listen to you two put the world to rights in terms of FPL. Disappointed that none of our callers made the cut. Some of them were a bit controversial at times, so I understand that perhaps they didn't warrant a second listen. But yeah, what a fun season it's been, boys, and I can only echo what you've said, really, Phil. That a big thank you to everybody that's listened and got in touch, and hopefully enjoyed bits and pieces of the podcast. And yeah, in terms of mental health, it's certainly been a positive thing for the three of us. So we look forward to doing some more.
Absolutely. There's been, again, boys, just to echo what you said, it's been great. I mean, there have been some days where we've all been having low days and we've all just come on in, we've just laughed our heads off, haven't we, really? So it's been really good, a really good way for us to keep in touch as well. And we've brought a few people along with us, and we've got some people now on the journey with us. So it's been really good fun, boys.
Yeah.
Apart from you being me, Phil.
Yeah, sorry about that, mate. Sorry about that. But yeah, and Brewster didn't outscore Watkins, mate. Who knew?
Imagine that. I mean, you did fail to find the clip where I questioned why Johnny Evans wasn't being picked for England. But other than that, I mean, that was a great montage.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because ideally I could do some software that searches audio for specific words. That would be good. If anyone can advise us, that would be handy.
Fancy, yeah.
Still. So yeah, we will be back next week with another pod. Maybe we'll do a preview of the Euros next week, because the Champions League would have happened by then, wouldn't it? And the Europa League. So yeah, we'll maybe preview the Euros next week and send in your ideas for sort of top 20s or World Cups of breakfast or whatever it wants to be. We'll have some fun over the summer. That'd be good. And yeah, thanks very much for listening and joining in with us. Mike, have you got a song to torture people with?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No.
That's what they're saying.
Here we go. Listen, little child, there will come a day when you will be able to say the Spurs will win the league. Never mind the pain or the aggravation. Oh, it's going high. You know there's a better way for you and me to be. I'm sorry, boys. This is quite a long to get to the chorus.
It is, isn't it?
Look for the rainbow in every storm. And that's for you, Phil. Fly like an angel. Heaven sent me. Here we go. Heaven, I'm not sure.
Oh, he's disconnected his headset.
Oh, this is incredible.
Oh no, am I
He's
back?
He's back.
You're
Oh,
back
sorry.
in the room.
It's not the end. Gonna keep it strong before the pain turns into fear. So glad we made it. Time will never change it. No. Anyway, there we go. We're on Twitter and stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Goodbye.
Bye.